Hello everyone and thanks for stopping by my channel. I am Surge T, and in this video I will be talking about AEW Dynamite for June 19, 2024. And of course, as it was advertised last week, the first match is a commercial-free one. Like, wow, is that supposed to mean something? I mean, well, I guess if it's MJF and Rush in this match, I guess it deserves that type of treatment. As you're going to see, and I'm going to talk about in every other match, oh, those picture-in-pictures really start to grate on you. But anyway, talking about this match, and we saw a straight jacket pile driver, and we saw a sit-out pile driver. It's like pile drivers all around. Are these guys trying to break each other's necks? I mean, MJF, he works out. He's he's built pretty good. He's got a thick neck, so I guess his neck is strong for it. I mean, one of these days, these guys are going to slip up and someone's going to end up paralyzed. How many pile drivers do you need? You just need one pile driver, folks, to send a message, right? And then we hear like a Roosh, and then an MJF chant, and then Taz honestly saying the crowd is split. I'm like, no, they're not, Taz. They're sheep who just chant because it's cool. If you chant for one, we got to chant for the other. Wasn't there a time where you only chanted for the babyface and not the heel? Roosh talks so much shit about the fans. The way he's talking to them even today. I mean, even in the Dynamite. And they still want to chant. And you still want to question me or say that I'm a weirdo for pointing shit out like that? Watch the match, folks, and listen to the chanting. I guess I just come from a dinosaur age of thinking, I guess, where, I don't know, the heels don't get cheers. The baby faces do. And what annoys me is when a heel is talking shit about a crowd and then they're chanting for and cheering for the heel. That very heel that was talking shit. I don't know. It goes hand in hand with the people saying, they can chant whatever they want. Yeah, but then when you do that, you open up a Pandora's box. You can never open. You can never close again. And then now everybody thinks that that's okay. It has to matter. It has to make sense. That's what I always say. But no one's listening to me, so who am I, right? Now, he says that Taz also said, you're going to feel that in 20 years. As MJF is thrown to the floor. From the apron, it was a type of a damn suplex or something, and then MJF just lands flat on the arena floor, on the, outside of the ring. And then Taz is like, you're going to feel that in 20 years. Of course they are. But then again, it's like maybe they don't need to be feeling it in 20 years if you kind of save those damn spots for special occasions, not just a random Dynamite. And Dynamite, is there a show, right? Probably the only show that matters, really. But how about on the PLE or pay-per-view, excuse me, this isn't WWE, pay-per-views. How about you wait for that? Something that you might think, that's a spot that you see in regular shows. Yes, you do. But the pile drivers, I don't know. You hit me with a pile driver, I'll hit you one. Oh, I'm going to hit you with another one. I'll hit you back. Pile drivers aren't a joke. Yes, they're protected. Yes, these two are very good at what they do, and they're going to definitely protect each other. But what if someone slips? It's happened before with Owen, Hart, and nearly paralyzing, what do you call it? Nearly paralyzing Stone Cold, right? Didn't mean to, but what happened, like I said, a slip. Stone Cold could have easily been paralyzed. And like I said, and I've said it in the past, and I'll say it time and again, one of these days, someone from AEW is going to be paralyzed or someone's going to be killed in the ring because of the unnecessary bumps, spots, from whatever distance, whatever height. Just go do it. Just do it, and it's all about those wow moments and not about those holy shit moments and not about protecting people. Because you could do those spots once every pay-per-view or maybe in every match at the pay-per-view, but at least bring it out only one time in a match. Don't try to outdo each other and then pretty much one of these days. Because remember how it is, folks. If you keep doing something over and over again, one day something bad is going to happen. They've been safe so far. One day we're going to hear so-and-so has been paralyzed after a match, a botched move happened. And we've heard injuries from a lot of these guys, and they could have easily have been paralyzed. They could have easily have been seeing their careers end. How long are you going to do it? You're going to keep tempting fate? That's what's happening. Keep tempting fate there, TK, and see what happens to your hired talent. You know. And then after the match, well, I got to say that this match was very physical. It was fun to watch. But it's like, whatever. As it ends up that MJF wins it. Like, okay. Where does Rush go from here? There's a little bit of a hint at it later on. Actually, I don't think I wrote it in my notes, but he was approached by Don Callis. Put his hand on his sweaty shoulder. You see when Don Callis moved his hand, and you see his hands all sweaty and shit. And then he's like, said something in Spanish. I don't know what he said, but he probably said, hey, how about you think about joining the Don Callis family? I mean, what are they going to do? Is it an NWO where they're going to hire everybody pretty soon? All the heels are going to be members of the damn Don Callis families, like with NWO, where almost the entire roster was an NWO member. Like I've said it before, that one scene where you see these guys walking out from the back, on the stage, and you see everybody and their grandma coming out with NWO shirts on. I'm like going, yeah, it did get that out of hand, did it? You know? But let's move on. And then after this match, we see Hechicero challenge MJF. I'm like, did he? I couldn't understand a damn thing he said. But Brian Cage was the one that came out first and introduced Hechicero. Taya Leona and Toa Leona, I should say, and Bishop Khan were accompanying him. And I was thinking, what do they have to do with Hechicero? But then later on, I saw that they had a match. I think it was on Collision. I don't know. I guess this is a good way. I can't really knock Hechicero and how they're booking him, because at least now they're putting him in something so that we'll know who he is. Now I know who Hechicero is. Now I know who he's aligned with. Brian Cage and Gates of Agony, right? That's how you do it. Don't just trot them out there. I don't give a fuck if they have their second, third generations luchador. Luchadors are great. I love that wrestling style. But I don't know them. Let us know who they are. Now they're at least giving him some kind of a shine, a little bit of a thing. Okay, now I know who he is. Now we're going to see. He's going to go up against MJF. You know? I mean, he tried to do a armbar on MJF earlier in the match. Well, I think that was later, or that was later. I think they attacked him, something like that, whatever. I'm trying to remember. But at least they're going to put him in with MJF. There's going to be something. There's going to be Forbidden Door, I believe. Right. That's going to be something. I think I'm going to actually put that in the notes for later on, and I might come around to it again and mention it, but we'll see. But that's actually a good start. It actually is. The other guys too. How about we do the same thing with those guys so we know who they are? I don't know. Now, we see Swerve and we see Osprey in the ring together in this next segment. Of course, they have that big match at Forbidden Door for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And they both took the stick and they delivered promos with passion and conviction. I love what they both had to say, but then they got personal with Swerve mentioning Osprey's kids. And then Will mentioning how Swerve had hit row, but while Osprey himself has a hit list in which he never missed. Shots fired and then points taken, but will Swerve walk out still the champ, or will Osprey take out Swerve and be a double champion? We'll see. But then later on, you'll see that maybe he's not going to be a double champion. He might not walk in to Double or Nothing as the international champion. So I'll come around to that when I see it. When I talk about it, I should say, and I see it. Now, an all-star 8-man tag team match is a Takeshita, Zack Sabre Jr., Kyle Fletcher, and Roderick Strong They go against Orange Cassidy, Dante Martin, Kyle O'Reilly, and Mark Briscoe. What a motley group of people on both teams. And then again, Takeshita and Fletcher are a part of Don Callis' family. Zack Sabre Jr., who makes his Undertaker-like appearances for AEW once or twice a year, or even just once. At least he's here on Dynamite. And then so that makes this great, I'm thinking, by slapping a label of All-Star to an 8-man tag team match. It's like, we will see, but as far as these type of matches go, more likely it will be a run-of-the-mill AEW multi-man mess. And of course, the mime ref, Aubrey Edwards, going through all the poses and facial expressions as she officiates this match. I'm thinking, is Aubrey doing what she does to piss her distractors off? Because she just looks so over-the-top dramatic. It's like she's a performing dinner theater every time. Like, you see her, someone does a move, and she's like, like, do you get paid to pose? Do you get paid to look like you're confused? Like, I don't see any of the other referees do that. It's like they will be shocked and surprised, but they're not standing there like someone needs to go over and repose her like she's a mannequin or a doll. Like, she'll stand there or something looking like this. Like, I don't get her and how she referees. Like, and I'm not the only one that brings that up. Like I said, someone brought up the fact that it looks like she's playing, what do you call it? God, what's the name of that game? I always forget. Blue, left leg blue, right leg green. What is that? Twister, I think, right? And then someone was saying that it looks like she's playing Twister while she's standing up. It is. Sometimes she'll go like this, she'll go like this, she'll go like this, she poses. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you channeling a retro, old school 70s martial arts films where they do that? They just pose and stuff like that when they're doing their moves. It's like, I don't know, man. But in all of the chaos of this match, it ends with an orange punch by Orange Cassidy on Roderick Strong, and his team picks up the victory. Well, okay, I guess. I mean, it's a typical match. There's chaos all around. Guys getting their shit in, getting their spots in. People getting thrown here, getting thrown over there. They finish their finishing moves or signature moves on each other. And then someone just out of the blue, and like the guy's not paying attention, and it's like with this ending here, boom. Orange punch connects on Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong, he eats that. Why couldn't it have been Zack Sabre Jr.? Why couldn't it have been because Roderick Strong, no pun intended, needs to look strong, right? He gets taken out by an orange punch. I guess somebody had to take the pin, I guess. I don't know. Now, Mercedes Moné had a vignette. And to sum it up, she says, you want to be the La Primera? Talking to Stephanie Vaquer. She said, well, let's see if you can handle La Jefa. I guess I know that means the boss, because kind of channeling her previous incarnation in WWE as the boss, right? And then it's like, as Mercedes says, she proclaims that the 2 titles up for grabs at Forbidden Door are hers to claim, not hers to win. Because pretty much she's saying, I'm the champ already, so I'm just going there to pick them up. That's a lot of confidence, right? I've seen Stephanie Vaquer work, and she's no joke. Now we look at Mercedes, and she has been working her ass off. She's been, collecting victories and making news all over the world. Japan, right? I think she's wrestled in Mexico, I believe. But she's been all over. Aside from the fact that she's been on the red carpet, she even brought that up. But then she kind of mentions it, and she ends it off by saying, because there's a price to pay if you mess with Mercedes money. That's true. Stephanie Vaquer's got to be on her A game, because Mercedes is not a joke. I mean, I haven't agreed with her booking yet, but at the same time, they got her in the mix. She is the champion, the yeah. So she's going to have to be there. She's going to be taking on all these this great talent. Stephanie Vaquer is one. Let's see where it goes. And I don't know. Looks like Stephanie Vaquer may be losing that title because are they going to let Mercedes lose or drop the title yet? I hope they don't, simply because it's just going to be another thing where they're just going to hot shot the championship like hot potato. A hot potato. Just I get it. Oh, you got it. Like that. Sometimes when you book like this, it's like you already know what's going to happen. Stephanie Vaquer deserves to be the strong women's champion, but is she going to hold on to that title, especially going up against Mercedes? I mean, she is going to defend it against, I don't know if she did already, but she's supposed to defend the title against somebody before she defends that title in that title for title match at the Forbidden Door against Mercedes. Hello, folks. Up next, it's a favorite match type of mine. I always go like this with my hands. An eliminator match. So, if the Acclaim win this, as told to us ad nauseum by Mr. Excalibur there, they receive a title match. No shit. I got it. And then I'm thanking God and I pray to God a lot, and this is one of the things that I'm thanking him for, is that they cut off Max Caster while he was rapping, looking around, what's going on with his 70s porn star mustache. What's up with that mustache? He should make it more thicker so that it make it look more obvious that he's trying to be a 70s porn star. I don't know what the hell that is, man, that look. But I'm glad that he was silenced. And then we find out it was Okada. So Okada, thank you very much, sir. The great Continental Champion there. I'm like, thank you, Rainmaker. As he said it fake crying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, so funny. And then he gets a serious look in his face, serious tone, and says, bitch. And everybody loves that shit. I do. Everybody's laughing at that. It's almost like he's a heel, of course, and he's with the elite, but I think people are going to be just dying for him and can't wait for him to be a babyface again. Maybe turn on the elite, turn on the Bucks, and maybe, something there. But I think they're waiting on Kenny to come back, and I think he's going to have a match with Kenny. Maybe Kenny's going to challenge him for the Continental Championship. We'll see. But I might add, the AEW is not only is this the promotion where finishers go to die, but the majority of their matches are seen in picture-in-picture. How many times, I believe it was this match or what match it was, they came back, 30 seconds later they go to another. I get it, you got to pay the bills. I get it, you got, you got sponsors and all this shit. But man, let the match breathe. I don't like looking at a little box in the corner there. I just fast forward it every time. I'm going, what do you want me to do? Fuck my eyes up more than they are? Gotta squint, look. I think that's I think that's Max Caster going for a damn mic shot. Mic, what do you call it? Mic check. I think that's him diving in. Is that him? So it's just like, it's just a thing now. So that's another thing put up, But speaking of mic drops, that was what Max Caster landed. He wasn't the legal guy, but he went up there, and he hit the damn mic check. And then it was pinned then the pinfall was taken by Anthony Bowens, and then he secured a future title shot. And I'm like this, well, at least they deserve, they deserve this shot because they are a quality team. It's not like, you're going to get the workhorse. Was that the workhorseman? Whatever the damn name of that whatever those guys are. Ryan Nemeth is in that with that fat dude and then that other loser. At least it ain't them, because they're not going to win. But if you look at the Acclaimed, they could win. There's a chance. I like that. Eliminator match puts somebody that we think can win. And, and if they win, okay. But if they don't win, okay, that's usually the where these matches go. You know, and usually it's because it's people that you don't expect is going to beat the champs. Because why are you going to let these champs, the champs of any of the divisions, whatever, lose? And they even made mention that the Bucks, you know, they didn't, they have not yet defended their titles. This is the match. I don't even think I mentioned them, but who was the one that took the damn scissor me timbers, right? I think it was Matthew. I didn't think he was going to take it. I thought he was going to somehow to get out of that shit. But see, they beat them, and they get the victory. And they get it in the future title shot. Good. When? Knowing how these guys are, they'll probably wait till wait till Wembley. Wait till All In. It's not that far away, but at the same time, and then speaking of All In, they showed They showed a graphic there that said that the tickets are on sale now. And I'm thinking way back to when was that? That special announcement, remember guys? That special announcement that TK had that stupid shit-eating grin on and says that the tickets for All In are on sale now. And I'm just thinking, why didn't you just wait till later? Because you obviously waited later anyways and you announced it. It's like, it wasn't even that big of a deal. Who cares? Tickets are on sale. Who cares? That's not a major announcement. Especially the way he does it. It's like it's so disappointing when he makes announcements. You're like, what is that? You just made mention announcement that you tied your shoe. That's pretty much how it sounds. It's an ordinary, mundane thing that you're just announcing. I guess that could be a big deal, but at the same time, you didn't need to mention it then. And that, you know what I mean? Like, you had plenty of time. You're doing it now, of course, it's because it's close to it, and he's already made the announcement before, so why not, right? And then backstage, you see Joe and Hook, and they're looking to crash the Premier Athletes locker room, and when they get in there, no one's home, and then we see a note that was left by Mean Mark Sterling. It's read by Joe, and that Mean Mark Sterling challenges them to a 6-man tag at Collision with his clients. What's that? Ryan? What's that? Toni Nese and I don't even remember what, Ari Daivari, I think. And then who's the other one? There's a third one. Who's the third one? Is it Mean Mark going to go into the ring? That's what happens when you just have a bunch of who gives a shit factions. At least in WWE, there's factions there that you know who they are, and at least they're doing something, no matter how small they are, from the Alpha Academy to the LWO to Legado, Judgment Day, Final Testament. You see how many I was able to name off, and they're at least doing something. The Premier Athletes. Does this look good for Joe and Hook to take them on? If you're going to do something with the Premier Athletes and actually push them to be better, sure. They got some great talent in that damn group. Toni Nese especially. They haven't done shit with them. Who cares? Who cares? Me, Mark Sterling. Who cares? The guy jumps from client to client. He ain't no Paul Heyman. He ain't no damn Bobby Heenan where he has a set stable, stays with that stable, and never leaves that stable. That's them. That's him, not him. I don't know, guys. Now up next is the contract signing between Mina, oh my lord, the gorgeous Mina Shirakawa. Ooh, my God. I got to keep my mind focused. I don't want to let my thoughts out because, my God, folks, and I know a lot of you agree, that girl is gorgeous. And then Timeless Toni Storm. See, I'm so flustered by Mina Shirakawa, I couldn't, get out Timeless Toni Storm's name, and she is also equally easy on the eyes. But see, I got like a preference. I love Asian women. So, Mina Shirakawa, Toni Storm, I'll go with Mina Shirakawa. If Mina wasn't there, I'd go with Toni Storm, of course. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You know? Now, the icon Storm and the friend Shirikawa. That's how Mariah May looks at Toni Storm as an icon, and then Shirikawa, Mina Shirikawa, that's her friend. They were tag team champions, I believe, in Stardom, and so their friendship is coming over to AEW, and so it makes it hard for Mariah to choose. And why would it be an easy choice? It isn't. You can't. If you have two people that you admire, it's kind of hard to choose. Like choosing between who's your favorite child, right? Or who's your favorite sibling, or who's your favorite, co-worker or something like that. Kind of hard to choose when you like people and when you like the people very much and stuff like that, or you care about people or love somebody. Mariah's talking, and then Mina just tells her to shut up, takes the mic from her, and then she calls Toni Storm soft, and she calls her weak since she became champ. She brings up the fact that she remembers her from Stardom. We all know her history at Stardom, with Toni Storm. And then she says that at Forbidden Door, she will take the title and her girl. Everybody goes, ooh. And then you see Mariah May's face kind of like, she's kind of torn. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, I can be with Toni Storm and we can still be friends. But it looks like Mina Shirakawa is going to take it all, including Mariah May. And then Toni Storm. What do you say about Toni Storm? I mean, she threatens to slap the tits off of Mina Shirakawa, if she raises her voice to Mariah May again. And I'm thinking, well, no one wants to see that because, they don't want to see that as they look fine where they are. I mean, no slapping tits off their Timeless Storm. Please, Toni, please. I like them where they are. Anyway, Mina tells Mariah to choose. And in the middle of all that, out comes Saraya, and Harley Cameron is accompanying her, and they interrupt. And they tell the ladies that they didn't come alone, and then from the outside, in comes Anna Jay. She joins in, and then they get a table up in there, they prop it in the corner, and then, all kinds of mayhem goes on, all kinds of shit gets done, and we see Saraya momentarily laid out. She's propped up against the table, and then Toni Storm looks to hit the Storm, what do you call it? She drives herself into the table in the corner as she was aiming her ample ass to deliver sweet cheek music to Saraya, and she moved out of the way. Didn't look like she was hurt. She's going to have a sore bottom because she went through the damn table. And I don't know if that is part of Luther's job, is to massage her there. I'm not trying to be inappropriate there, but who knows what goes on behind closed doors. Whatever Toni Storm wants, she gets, right? I don't know. I'm just things in my mind, but that looks like a triple threat match, I believe, is happening, if I'm not mistaken, between those two groups. And they're going to have the two challengers, or the two people in the world title match, and the person that's in between them on one side going up against Saraya and her girls. Is that going to be the start of how they're going to try to put dissension between Mariah May and Toni Storm? Because if anything, she admires Toni Storm, but she has a long friendship with Mina Shirakawa, so she may go towards Mina Shirakawa. And people are saying that the person that will probably take the title off her eventually, take it off Toni Storm, would be Mariah May. That would be the proper choice, the right choice. I mean, Mina Shirakawa is going to give her a match. It's going to be a competitive match, but we'll see what happens after Forbidden Door. And now, the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament. The brackets are, we have Claudio versus Pac, and that's going to happen in the main event. Then we have Bryan Danielson and Shingo Takagi. And Rey Fenix versus Jay White. And then Jeff Jarrett versus Wildcard. First I thought, who is that? Wildcard? That's a weird name for a wrestler. Is that one of the luchadors? What do you call that? That TK just has a hard on for, right? He loves those luchadors. But no, it's just later on it said that it's a wild card. Somebody is going to fill that spot and take on Jeff Jarrett. And people want to say, Jeff Jarrett again? The guy needs to just stay in the back. But you do know, folks, that he was very good friends with Owen Hart. So why not give him a spot in the damn match, in the damn tournament? Why not? It's not going to hurt anything. You know? His way of paying homage to his lost friend there, his long lost friend, the friend that's passed away, and whom we all love, right? Put some respect on this tournament. There you go. Put one of his friends, one of his longtime friends, in the tournament. Now that's the men's side, and then the women's side, Willow Nightingale versus Serena Deeb, Nyla Rose versus Chris Statlander. That's going to happen in this later on. Deonna Purrazzo, where has she been? Versus Hikaru Shida. Where has she been? Oh, I know where they've been. On ROH. Who gives a fuck? And then Mariah May versus Saraya. So there you go. There's some payoff to that little bit of a skirmish they had earlier. Those two are going to be facing each other. And the thing about it, Claudio, Pac, and then Bryan Danielson versus Takagi, they're in the same, the same side. So we could easily see Claudio going up against Bryan. But we'll see what happens with the Claudio and the Pac match. And before I move on, the winners get a shot at the world titles at Wembley for All In. Which is, to me, and I was saying this to myself earlier, did they do this because of the fact that WWE is going to give title shots at SummerSlam for the winners of the King and the Queen of the Ring? Now people will go, why do you have to put that into it? Why do you think that influenced their decision? Well, actually, that's a good thing. Competition breeds, a better product, a better promotion, a better, showing, right? I mean, if you have competition and those guys, you see what they're doing, oh, we got to do better than them. Oh, we got to do what they do, but do it better. Would they have thought about this? They've had the Owen Hart thing, how long now? Two years, I think now? And nothing happens with it. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to give title shots. That's a good thing. I'm not complaining about that. That's a good thing that they have title shots lined up for them if they win this tournament for the men and the women. That's a good thing because then you got something to build up to when it comes to, All In. You know who's going to be the challengers for whomever will be the world champion on either side, the women or the men's side, at All In. So it's going to make it even that more interesting. Who do you got in this whole thing? Who's going to be the one that's going to be a great match in a main event, I'm sure, at All In? I mean, out of all these guys on the men's side, I'm looking at Bryan Danielson. I thought there was a thing where he couldn't challenge for a title. I think that was Cody. That's right, that was Cody. So I know that Bryan Danielson wants to be a world champion before he retires. He wasn't going to do it this year. He said he's still got a lot in him and he's going to keep going. Maybe for one more year. That would be a perfect setup for him to get the world title that he's looking to get in AEW before he retires. That would be a good thing, right? It would be a good thing. And then on the women's side, the one that has a lot of heat behind him, a lot of momentum behind him is, is Chris Statlander and her, heel turn. I mean, I could see Willow also moving forward, possibly getting the world title shot. I can't look at anybody else and think. Serena Deeb already had her shot. Nyla Rose has been a champion. Deonna Purrazzo and Hikaru Shida, they've been world champions in their respective brands. I mean, Hikaru Shida has been world champion 3 times, actually, here in AEW. Deonna Purrazzo has been world champion in other places. Mariah May, she has a good resume of championships. And Saraya, of course, she's a former world champion herself. But Chris Statlander has not become a world champion, neither has Willow Nightingale, so it's either between the two, but I'm looking at Chris Statlander because Stat has a lot of heat on her, a lot of momentum behind her, especially because of her recent heel turn. So we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be great. I think that'll be great if it's her against whomever the world champion is. Who's going to be the world champion? Is Toni Storm going to still be the world champ? She might. How about the men's side? Is Swerve against Bryan Danielson? That'll be a good match. Very, very competitive, physical. A lot of great technical wrestling with both those guys. They know how to do it. They know how to get in the ring, get it done. Now, moving on. Speaking of Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander. They got a match next. It's for the Owen. They are in a qualifying match. And the match was very competitive. I say that all the time, but I love these type of matches. And they were giving their all. And one point I'm thinking, what a devastating move. As Nyla, she was sitting on the top turnbuckle. And then Chris Statlander just picks her up. She first kicks her in the dome, right? And then delivers a tombstone piledriver. Chris Statlander is strong. Because Nyla Rose ain't a small woman. You know what I mean? She's packed together. She's a powerhouse. You got to do a lot to lift her. You know what I mean? She's a beast. Like she said, she's called a native beast. But she delivers the tombstone piledriver. And she gets the win and advances to the semis in the Owen Hart tournament. And at least Nyla sold the move and put Stat over. That's why I love Nyla Rose. If you see her in the matches when she's in there with other women, she makes them look like she can beat them. That they could beat her. You know what I mean? She sells. She puts their moves over. If someone does a Hurricane Rana, she'll flip out of them and hit the mat or to the outside. I've seen it about her, and I think she's the one of the rare of the people in here, a few that sell. Because the majority of the people in AEW don't sell. She does, and that's what I like about her. That's what I love about her. She's great. You can say whatever about whatever she is and whatever she really is. People want to bring her gender into this. That don't matter, folks. Okay? She's in the women's division, and that's what she is. You know, we're in a time now where we got to accept people for what they want to be. Sometimes people don't agree with that, and people are going after Nyla Rose and saying, why is she in the women's division? Let me see, because she recognizes herself and she identifies as one. And like I said, when she's in there, she doesn't have an advantage just because she is not biologically, okay? But she is a woman. She that's what her claim is. That's what she identifies as. Good for her. Love her for that. And when she's in a match with other women, she makes them look strong. She doesn't show that she has an advantage anatomically or whatever you want to call it. She actually makes it so that they look as strong as she does and that they have a chance of beating her. You know, she don't take advantage of whatever the situation is. You know? I mean, it's a really tricky subject to talk about sometimes, and people don't like talking about it, and some people get offended if you talk about it in a way, but I respect her for her choice and what she's doing and how she's performing. She's one of the best in the, women's division and in wrestling in general, because she puts herself out there and she puts people over and she makes people look good, and that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be in it for yourself. You want to make yourself look good, but it's about being in a dance, and that's your dance partner. You both want to look good. If one of you don't look good, then you're going to fail, or you're going to, not win that dance competition, right? If you're in Dancing with the Stars, isn't it that you both want to look good and be in time with the movement and stuff like that? You don't want to be stepping on the other person's toes like you're trying to do a pirouette or whatever you want to call it, right? Same thing with wrestling. You want the moves to look smooth and fluid. You're working with your partner, who is your opponent. You call the matches in the ring and you stuff like that. You're hoping that person will understand what you're saying so that they will reciprocate and and perform the move that you're expecting them to do so that you can do your move. It goes hand in hand, But like I said, I'm a fan, and it's great to see her. Sometimes I don't see her as much, but I'm glad to see her here, and she did what she had to do, and she put over Chris Statlander. And then there was a boring tree segment backstage. And like I've said time and time again, I could give two shits and I skipped it. Yeah, it was with, Private Party, but the Private Party can kiss my ass too. I really don't. I think they are a wrestler, a tag team that has never gotten past first or second gear. They've been stuck. Actually, they've been stuck between first and second gear, and it's choking. It's like you can't, you know what I mean? They have not, there are a lot of tag teams that in AEW that have improved immensely, not them. And it's just the way for them to do it. Like, I don't care, because You even got Big Bill talking like a schmarmy fucking like, oh, you can do it if you try your best. Like Jesus, even the cringeness of Jericho is rubbing off on him too, and even the bounty hunter Brian Keith, who, like I said in the past, I prefer the late actor Brian Keith, not bounty hunter Brian Keith, but that goes without that, whatever. Now, first I thought, why is Daniel Garcia taking on this guy named Titus in the main event? Yeah, 10 minutes left. I'm thinking this has to be the final match, or is it just a match that's almost towards the end? But then in the end, we see Garcia. He wins the match, and then Daddy Magic, who's sitting ringside, he's with the announcers, announcing and everything. He gets worked over by the embassy, by the what do you call it? By the Gates of Agony. And then Garcia in the ring gets beat down too. But then MJF comes out because of them calling him out earlier, right? And then he beats down the embassy, but only for a bit. And then Hechicero, you look at both they kind of look the same. He looks to damage MJF's arm, like I said earlier. And then Osprey comes to the ring and runs the embassy off. And then he has a stare down with MJF. Is that a shot at the future, what do you call it, right? The future match between them guys? It would be a good match. Kind of too soon for that. Maybe he becomes the world champion and maybe MJF will take it off of Osprey. I don't know. There's still a lot of heat between Osprey and Swerve, and I'd like to see that go to another pay-per-view so that we gotta see what happens after that. But okay, the main event is Claudio Castagnoli versus the Bastard Pack in the opening quarterfinals in the Owen Hart tournament match. And then Brian Cage, we see him backstage and he's mad at Will Ospreay. And Ospreay wants a match at Collision because Cage wants to challenge him, but Cage says, I want that international title on the line if you and I are going to go at it. Ospreay agrees, and then I'm like this. See there, folks? Just yell at the champ and then be angry and demand a title match and demand that it be on the line, and then you get it. But then, and then we see that it's official, a Forbidden Door, that Danielson versus Takagi will be a match at Forbidden Door, the Owen Hart tournament match. Their match will take place there. Why not? Takagi is from New Japan. He's knocking on that door, that Forbidden Door, so why not have it at Forbidden Door? Makes sense. Like 1 and 1, 1 and 1 is 2. But then again, the common core math or whatever the math is nowadays taught, 1 and 1 is 3 times 5. It's something like that. It's weird. I tried that with someone. I'm like, what in the fuck is that? That's not the math that I remember. But I digress. Let's go on with this. And in this match, there were so many near falls in the end from this incredible hard-hitting match. But then Pac gets the definitive pinfall and Vences and the Owen. They were trading different pinfalls, right? You got the referee, count 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He's out bouncing all over the place, man, like a pogo stick. And then Pac gets the victory. And he moves on. So he'll be facing either Danielson or Takagi. I would like to see Pac and Bryan Danielson, because we know that Pac can go, and we damn sure know that Bryan Danielson can go. So, I'm not familiar with Takagi, so, Shingo Takagi. I'm not familiar with him. I've heard his name, but I don't think I've ever seen him wrestle before. I don't know if he wrestled at a past Forbidden Door. He probably has, but we'll see. It's going to be a great match between those guys, of course. Who doesn't give a good match over there from the guys that come over from what do you call it? From New Japan. They're all great wrestlers. They're all just great in what they do. So, of course, you're going to have a great match between Bryan Danielson and Shingo Takagi. But like I said, I'd rather see Pac face him as they advance to the semis. Now, I gotta say that I enjoyed Dynamite. I'm not going to be overly negative. There's some things I brought up, but in the past, yes, I admit that I can be very negative about AEW. It's just because of the fact that, not because I want to call them out and pretty much say that they suck and that they are, failing in this and that TK should do that. But like other people try to say when it comes to people in the IWC, the content creators and all that stuff, they just want what's best. They want to see things happen that make sense. And they're just trying to give you their constructive criticism. You don't have to listen to them, TK, or anybody in AEW. You don't have to listen to the fans that say that shit. But I've noticed that TK does listen at times, And TK, all we want is for AEW to flourish. Because if you don't flourish and you fail, then there's less competition for WWE. WWE now is aligning with TNA. I mean, they got great talent in NWA. How about you guys align with them? Follow suit with what WWE is doing so that you guys can kind of compete. Don't directly compete. Don't try to line your show up with Monday Night Raw because you're going to fail. Compete on your own level and your products that you put out there, the matches you put out there, and then people are going to be like, damn, that was a great match. Oh, damn, that was a great Dynamite or Collision or Rampage. And they'll come over and watch. At one time I watched all those shows, but I only watch Dynamite now. I have my reasons for not watching Rampage or Collision. They got great matches. They got some of these qualifiers for the Owen on Rampage, on Collision. So I'm going to be seeing the aftermath and then seeing the, So I just wish that they would do that too. If somebody like me, the people like me and others that don't watch those things, then they should do a recap. I think they do, but oftentimes they don't. Kind of connect stuff that happened on Rampage and Collision onto Dynamite. I'm not saying they don't because I believe they do, but sometimes I just zone out sometimes when it's AEW. It's sad. I hate to say that, but sometimes they don't grasp my attention. But this AEW Dynamite, this edition of Dynamite did, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. You set up the damn matches for the Owen, and then you're moving all these other things along, these moving parts, moving the chess pieces, the world title picture with the women's world title picture, right? You got that eliminator match. The Acclaim beat the Bucks, so they got a shot coming up. You can't complain. There's nothing to. There's some things you can bring up. I brought up some things, but overall, I enjoyed it. I think it was great, and this is what they need to do. They constantly need to make it like this. It was interesting. An opening match, commercial free. Very physical match. Where's Rush going to go from here now? Is he going to join the Don Callis family? Did Don Callis ask? He said something in Spanish to Rush, and Rush was contemplating it. He was still huffing and puffing, but he was contemplating something. Maybe he's going to join. But like I said, don't make it like the NWO. You're just going to pick up all these other wrestlers and all these people, and then it's going to end up being 20 people in your faction. A good 5 or less people in your faction is enough. Don't put 20 in there. And then they're going to get all oversaturated and you're not going to give a fuck. You're not going to be able to focus on certain members because you got so many of them. You can focus on 5. 2 for a tag team, 1 for the mid-card title and the other 1 for the world title. And you got 1 who just is there to protect the bodies, right? The heavy, the bodyguard, right? The enforcer, if you will, right? But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And as always, please click that like button, share, comment, and also push that or click that or smash that, however the kids say nowadays, that subscribe button. And please subscribe if you like what you see. And also the notifications button, so that bell icon, so you can know when I am uploading, all that good stuff. But anyway, again, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And until next time, take care, and I will see you in my next video.